everybody. Welcome to our spoiler-full discussion of Black Widow. Spoilers, we're talking about Black Widow.
Go watch Black Widow before you listen to this.
This is your final warning.
I thought it was
Watch
good.
Black Widow.
Thought it was good.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Here we go.
So it's disappointing, and we talked about this in the non-spoiler talk about it, is that it came out at this point. See, Civil War came out in 2016. This came out 5 years too late. Because this should have came out right after Civil War. I think
it should have been the bridge from Civil War to Endgame.
I think the final movie that we got was Spider-Man. I think Homecoming was the last movie of Phase 3. No, I guess Phase 3, Infinity War is part of Phase 3. Never mind, that was a huge phase. Regardless, this is when that movie should have came out, because you lose any
for sure
urgency.
It's sentimental.
It's weird that you're watching a character you know will not die in this. And I said this in the regular episode. You know she's not going to die in this movie. It makes the tension really weird.
See, the part
that's not my biggest problem.
Sucks. I mean, it's not my biggest problem either, by any means. It sucks because Scarlett Johansson is great, and I think we mentioned in the non-spoiler, the cast is great. The problem I have with this movie, I mean, there's like 2 or 3 things that I have a problem with. Because I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's fine. It's just not spectacular. But one of the reasons I hate this idea about it, and what sucks even more because this is a female-led film, is that it took us this long to get a Black Widow movie with Scarlett Johansson, and this movie was not about her. This was about basically passing the torch of Black Widow to her sister, who is Florence Pugh, as we said, and like I said constantly, they're very good. Everybody in this movie does really good with what they're given, but it sucks because now we're not going to get, I mean, unless we do more prequels, which is whatever, but like, if we do that, you know, we're not going to get any more Scarlett Johansson Black Widow unless they bring her back, which is fine. I don't care if they bring her back to life in some multiverse way. That's fine.
They bring her back with some
I mean, I won't
stuff,
care.
That's fine. If they do another prequel, I'm going to be upset.
I mean, sure. I mean, regardless, though, like, the part that bugs me is, like, not only did we wait this long for this movie, we're not going to get another one with her. Like, that's the sucky thing. Most likely.
We're getting one now when they could have had one, like, in her prime.
And they had this plan that entire time. Like, they knew what movie they wanted to make with her. I just don't understand why they
It's weird that they pushed it. Yeah.
I hate, like I said, I hate that the torch has been passed to Florence Pugh, which is fine. She's going to do great.
She's great.
I imagine we're going to see her. I imagine we're going to see her in the Hawkeye
movie.
show that comes out this fall. I'm sure we're going to see her in that. I'm positive.
Well, I mean, they're setting it up for, I mean, she's working for Hydra currently, and she's probably going to...
She's not necessarily working for Hydra. Hydra doesn't exist as we know it. She's working for the lady...
right.
Which
Madam
we find out in the
Hydra.
post-credit scene. Well, she's not actually Madam Hydra specifically. She's her own person.
She's what? She's some kind of morally gray character.
Yeah, she's not good.
No, she's not good. She's basically making the Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers or something. Regardless, that's a different story. That's not what we're talking about here. So that was my main issue. Number 1 is it sucks that we're not going to get a sequel with Scarlett Johansson. The other thing, this is actually probably the number 1 thing that sucks the most, is Taskmaster was fucking garbage. Fucking ruined that villain. That was the worst part of the movie, was that. Because there was no point in having Taskmaster when you don't actually have Taskmaster. I don't care that they gender bent it. That's fine. Antonia Masters, I mean, that wasn't even what her last name was anyways, but if that was the route they went, that's fine. That wasn't the issue. The issue is that Taskmaster is kind of braggy. He's kind of like, not Deadpool braggy, but he's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And she didn't say anything until the very end when she got saved by her mind control. But that's stupid that she was being mind controlled, because Taskmaster is a master assassin who does it for money and himself. That is his whole character, is that he does it out of his own interest. He does not give a shit about anybody. And like that's the part that bugs me the most about this movie, is Taskmaster sucks. Also, like they Iron Man Taskmaster in a way, which made Taskmaster pointless because Taskmaster, I keep saying his name over and over and over, or her name. But the whole point is that he has photographic reflexes and photographic memory to like the 10th degree. That's what makes him special. And by making it a suit that does it for you,
her.
like that makes the whole point of the character stupid. Like that was the weakest part of the movie for me, was Taskmaster. And that
But here's
sucks.
the thing, though, Ryan, is if you had a guy who could just learn things by looking at them, then you know what? People might get confused. They might think that that's a mutation and that there are mutants in the MCU, and you can't have that. No mutants allowed.
But that's not a mutant power. That's just.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, that was the biggest thing that held me back. It feels like they were told so clearly, like, no mutations. You can't. How are you gonna? You have to explain how Taskmaster works in this world, and it can't just be that he's got some crazy superpower.
It's not even a superpower. That's the thing. It's just that's just his skill. People have photographic memories. Like that is the thing. It's not a power. It's just.
I mean, look, the way that it's presented in the comics, it is a power that he has the ability just by looking at someone to master their like form of combat. But they refused to go that route. They were like, okay, well, we can't do that. And that was definitely the mistake. Yeah, because I 100% agree, making it into like a robot-y type thing takes it all away, and having it be a mind control thing. Yeah, the character.
I mean, honestly, even if it was the robot suit, that wouldn't bug me nearly as much if they didn't like completely strip of the character of any of the personality. The character had it wasn't.
They should have had that character without the Taskmaster name. Like that's a cool
mimicry thing without the Taskmaster name, because then it's pretty obvious that's what you're doing anyway.
But I mean, like it's the suit that's doing it. It's not Taskmaster.
No, I know.
So I mean, I think it would be really cool to have somebody do something similar, but like now they just
that's why I said what I said about. Well, no, she's alive. They made
like they can't bring in like a different Taskmaster that's actually similar to the one in the comics.
They still could.
This universe.
I mean, this could be like the whole Mandarin thing that we got with Iron Man 3.
They could.
And like years down the line, we get an actual Taskmaster, but like maybe they're just designing the suit based on the actual Taskmaster.
I mean, that's why I said what I said earlier about the best parts of this movie being the parts where it wasn't trying to be a superhero movie. Because Taskmaster thing felt kind of flat. The Red Room thing was cool, but mostly because it wasn't about superheroes.
Also, do you know how much gas that thing needs to go through in order to stay up in the air like that all the time? And what happens when there's no clouds? Like you're telling me that there's clouds covering that fortress every single second of the day?
It makes its own clouds, Johnny. It's smart.
I mean
that would make sense.
Solar powered or something.
But then
if there's mind control in this world and you're trying to worry about the flying fortress.
Just like the fucking shield, Daniel. Just like the fucking shield. There's no reason why Sam Wilson could have thrown the shield and bounced it off of trees like that. Yes.
True. Hey, man. Hey. You can't be saying stuff like that because, with enough practice and training, anybody can do it. Because
somehow Taskmaster did it without a vibranium shield, so fuck if I know.
On YouTube, there was a recent build. Let me look it up.
I watched that. That was a good video.
Yeah. He made an actual Captain America shield. Jay Laser video. He made a video where he actually made a bounceable shield.
Huh.
Yeah,
science is amazing.
It's pretty sick, yeah.
How does he do it though?
Watch the video. He'll explain it, I'm sure.
It's a whole 19-minute long video where he goes over his whole process of doing different prototypes. He has like basically.
Can he do it with his hands?
Yeah, that's what he does it with. He has like a little thing that he just hucks it and it bounces off of things and comes back.
And it comes back?
Well, I mean, you have to angle and you have to go run and catch it as it bounces back. Right.
Can he catch it in the handles?
Yeah, because it's not handles. It's
one
magnetic.
in every 100.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool then.
That's cool.
Sweet. Good for him. Well, regardless, we're not talking about Captain America. We're talking about Black Widow. I thought it was really cool.
Can I talk about what I didn't like now? Okay, so Taskmaster didn't bother me at all. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was
they're doing a new take on it. Like we said, we can't get hung up on they're doing it different than the comics.
Comics, yeah.
And I'm not familiar with the character, so like it didn't really bother me that she was stoic and whatever. I thought it was cool. Like every time she does a move, I'm like, I know where that's Black Panther. I see that. Like I see you, and so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like I said, it's weird that it's a prequel after she's died. It's a weird place to put out this movie. Not my biggest hang up. My big problem is with how did Taskmaster find her in the first half of the movie but not the second half of the movie?
Yeah, they always did that with plot. They just
Same way that
allowed her
Mordecant
to be
found
away.
Sabriel in.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like she's in the middle of Norway, and her car gets blown up out of nowhere, and they fight and all that, and then she runs away, goes to Budapest. Does anybody fact check this? Does anybody know?
I have not.
Is it
but
actually?
I would imagine that it's right.
I trust ScarJo. So she runs off to Budapest, finds her sister, bam, Taskmaster's on their ass right there, and then for the rest of the movie, she just leaves them alone and then go to Russia or prison or the mom's house and like just leaves them alone. And same with Ross in the like this is a internationally wanted criminal and she just gets left alone by the government for the entire movie. Meanwhile, they're standing in a gas station talking about how they're trained killers and she's on the cover of a magazine.
Yeah.
And the dude's right there and no one calls the cops. No one calls.
I know, I was
the
thinking
Red
that
Room.
too.
There are hundreds and hundreds of mind-controlled spies in every city, and not one single one of them saw Black Widow anywhere and alerted the Taskmaster to her. It really, like, I came out of the movie not really thinking about it, and then the more I thought, I was like, that's dumb. That's really, really dumb. And like, I thought, because Taskmaster finds her out of nowhere in the beginning of the movie, and I kept thinking, like, oh, this is going to be like a chase movie. Like, the whole movie's going to be trying to evade capture, evade attacks. They're going to be constantly on the run. It's going to be wild. And then it just
wasn't.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what but Captain America, the Winter Soldier was kind of like that a little bit.
But
I think that's one of the strengths of that movie.
Exactly. It works really well. Is they're like, there's a reason they set up like Captain America's wanted. We need to find him, and then the rest of that movie is we gotta hide and evade capture. And they set that up in this movie and don't follow through on it at all. And
I think that goes along with what Daniel was saying.
When they draw so much attention to themselves and no one calls it out.
But I think that goes along with what Daniel was saying about the best parts of this movie were not the superhero parts. Because, like I said in the non-spoiler, my favorite part was the opening. Because
I wanted to hear about this.
Yeah, what happened in the opening?
About.
Well, in the opening, it's where you get established to the two girls.
Oh, okay.
You get brought into the home. A nice little thing, and then all of a sudden they have to go. They just have to go, and then they reveal shield that's on them.
That was a cool opening.
And then as soon as they escape, they land. The mom's presumed dead by the kids, and the dad doesn't really give a shit because he's a double agent. He doesn't care. It's all a phase anyways. I mean, they come out later in that dinner at the mid part of the movie where they say, oh, it was fake, but it wasn't. But was it fake? We have mixed feelings about how we feel about each other. And then they resolve that pretty nicely, I feel like. But as soon as, they get brought back and Natasha's like, I don't want to go back here. And then she's like, I'll fucking kill all of you. Like that's fucking awesome. And then of course they both get knocked out, and they do that quick intro credit montage of their entire life going through fucking torture.
The training. Yeah.
Like that was such a good sequence and so well done at giving you everything you need to know about everything that happened to them outside of everything else that we know about the characters in general from the past movies. Like that was so well done, and it's a shame to me the rest of the movie was not at that level, which is fine. Like I said, that's why I say it's not a spectacular movie. It's a good movie. It's just not up there. If the rest of the movie was as concise and as great as those moments, I think it'd be great. But Marvel has one problem with that runs through all of the series, and that problem is that they shy away from the serious stuff. It doesn't have to be that serious, but they deflect any amount of serious moments that they have with a joke, which is fine in moments, but then you really lose out on a lot of depth that you can have by keeping some moments serious. And another prime example of a different movie that I can think of would be Avengers Age of Ultron. Ultron should have been such a better villain than he is. Like, James Spader does a great job, but then he just makes Tony Stark jokes, which I understand the reason they're doing that was because he was, in theory, created by Tony Stark or whatever. But, like, he would have been more interesting as a ruthless, straight, like, dark
Villain.
like not the villain. I think he would have been way better that way. But they immediately make a joke about making an omelet. Like, there's so many jokes. But that's the Marvel problem that they have. It's like, I love Marvel. I love the content they produce. And I understand why. Because the humor will make it more broadly appealing to everybody. So some people aren't going to dig
and
the serious
digestible,
stuff.
too, sometimes.
I mean, like, one of the last things, too, like, that happened in the movie, it's a prime example of them deflecting, is right after they rescue their dad from the prison. There's two moments with the dad specifically, which he's great. He is so great in this
Super
movie.
great.
He's very,
But-
very good. Yeah,
Cubes-
I like him a
yeah.
lot.
But he's like, oh, I'm so happy to see you girls. You guys are great. And it's like, well, I've missed you. It's like, yeah, you're not the one that had forced hysterectomies, and they made that into a joke. Like, that should have been
Yeah.
a serious moment.
Yeah, that was a weird moment because I was
That was
like,
a
wow, I
rough-
feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
This
that was
is
very
really
uncomfortable.
awful.
I thought it was really well done, honestly.
It was funny in its own way.
Because if they
but
were to do that, that would have been way too
I mean,
serious.
I know I'm
for
not saying
the-
it had to be that intense, but like,
I'm just saying that's a really, really super extra dark thing to joke
Yeah.
about.
Mhm.
Like, as someone who thinks like you can make jokes about anything, I'm like, you can make jokes about anything. I'm not sure if jokes about anything are funny.
the one
I
other
thought
thing
that
with
was
the
really
dad
funny.
that happened was after the dinner party, and he was in there. And he, was being narcissistic still and ego driven
course.
while talking to his Yelena, and then he starts singing and stuff like that. And then he immediately, they get the lights on them. You think, oh shit, it's about to go down, and he gets blasted by things. Don't let him get blasted. Let him have a fucking awesome moment to like
he
show
should,
that
but-
he cares about his daughter. Like prove it. Like, don't just let him say it. So let him do it, because
A
he
little
didn't have a
disappointing.
moment. I understand it's a female-driven movie, and that's I don't think that scene would have taken away from it had he had a better moment before he got blasted like that, because they just played it for jokes rather than making a serious moment. Because they had just had a serious moment where they're having a heart-to-heart. So I think that would have benefited by not just making it a joke. But that I
Also, it
digress.
really makes what's that guy's name? John Walker's character seem like way more of a dick. Because this dude was crazy, but he took the super soldier serum, and he's still like a pretty okay guy. I guess he does reference killing a lot of people, but he might be just embellishing a lot too. He still seems
he
like kind of a
was.
stand-up dude. So John Walker really had a screw loose that he became like a psychopathic killer.
It was
Yeah,
the
that's the
time
point
at
of
which
it.
he had taken it.
Yeah. I want to backtrack a little bit, talk about that opening montage. I thought that was really weird, and I couldn't really get into it because it felt like the first part of the end credits moved up to the front of the movie, and then at the end you just get hard cut to like the
Nothing,
black
but yeah.
regular credit, and
Yeah.
that's just like super out of touch with other Marvel movies. And also they're playing this like gloomy cover of like slowed down cover of Nirvana. and I'm
Nirvana.
like,
Yeah.
come on, Marvel, you can do better.
It's the
than that.
90s.
Like, I know
It was
but,
the
like,
90s.
That's such a trope of today of like playing the sad sad cover of a
Like
pop
slower.
song.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're not Marvel. You can do better than this. Don't do this to yourself.
I thought it was alright.
Here's a question for you. Is Nirvana pop or is that classic rock now?
Oh, classic rock.
It's popular classic rock. You get what I'm saying?
No, I know. I was just
I don't-
quibbling.
Sure. To Daniel's point, when he said like the best parts of the movie were the non-superhero bits, because I felt like they should be on the run and like, there's no like Taskmaster can't find him for whatever fucking reason. Those moments were kind of ruined for me because like, they're at the gas station, they're talking, they're making jokes, and I'm enjoying that stuff. The dynamics are really good, but in the back of my head, I'm like, and now Taskmaster shows up. And maybe now, no, what about?
You
Like,
expected
I'm just
more from
waiting for
it. Yeah.
shit to
Also-
blow up, because that's what has happened in the past.
Thunderbolt Ross is looking old.
Yeah, he is.
Very,
He's
very
looking
old,
so
yeah.
old. Oh my god.
Decrepit.
This guy's gonna be our Red Hulk, really?
No way. No way. He's gonna like younger. He's gonna become younger just because of it, I think. And they're just gonna get some like younger dude to take over. That's
'Cause
my guess. But
Not to divert us too much, but isn't Abomination confirmed
He's in Shang-Chi.
in Shang-Chi? And do we know if it's Tim
the
Roth?
same person. That would be
Abomination?
interesting. Probably not.
No idea. Didn't look
I
into
would-
it.
I
It's not
heard that they were bringing him back.
In
I think
fact,
they
I don't
were.
even know who that is.
Tim Roth? He played Abomination in the
the
OG
Hulk.
I have not thought about that movie.
Incredible Hulk.
I mean, he's in a lot of other
It
stuff.
was the
too.
very beginning. It was the
Yeah.
very beginning of the Avengers
Yeah,
thing.
that was before I cared.
That was
So-
the first time that they
was
did
like
the
2000
end credit
and-
I don't
scene
even
with
count that
Nick,
That was a
movie.
long
Fury.
time.
So my only few thoughts, just little pieces. Really cool that she had the vest, and
The vest is good.
the vest was super tight. I was really
That was a
glad
good
to see
tie-in.
that she actually had that in Endgame, and that was like fucking awesome. Or not Endgame, Infinity Wars. Second thing, Natasha is fucking badass for breaking her own goddamn nose just to beat the shit out of that asshole. Super awesome.
I didn't
That was like
that at all.
goddamn. And I like the whole time I was like, I know that she has like a way around it. I just don't know like what it is exactly, because you could tell with like the way that they were cutting to certain things. Like she was looking at him while he was doing the pinky ring, and she was kind of like surveying the area and all that shit.
Okay, so I will agree. So the best part isn't necessarily the opening montage. I mean, I do really love it, but I think I agree with you. I think that was probably the best moment of the movie, was that interaction between those two.
Mm-hmm. I
in
think that was
scene.
super cool. I think that I didn't really care too much for Taskmaster, but I really didn't care too much about either way. I think that it was really cool. If Taskmaster was never a character in the comics, I think that was a really cool idea. Though, no, it was a pretty cool idea. But anyways, and then I really liked the line between what was her name? The younger one?
Elena.
Elena and I don't know, Red Guardian's the dad's name, I don't know, but he was like Crimson Commando or something like that, and I like, just as he said, like right before, I was like, Red Guardian, and then he fucking said it. It was so funny. That was a great line.
Yeah, that's an interesting throwaway line too, because Crimson Dynamo is another
Crimson
Russian
Dynamo,
villain.
that's what it is.
That's
what it is.
that's a Tony
Yeah.
Stark villain. But
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
I think overall it was really cool. I liked Red Guardian. The mother, like once we catch up with her, it's like super sad just to see that she's like so pinned down that she just lives with pigs and just, yeah, rough. I think I enjoyed the movie from start to finish. There were only a few parts where I was like, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's good. Yeah, it's a good movie. You're not gonna have a bad time. I just wanted to say, like, one of the other things I really didn't enjoy, and made me, I don't know how much. It's a weird thing for me to talk about. I don't know how much is my place to say this, but like when you're talking about, or she slams her head into the desk, I really did not like that part, and I feel like this movie just really kicks the shit out of Scarlett Johansson, and like, I don't know if you guys feel this way or maybe it's just me, but it felt like not only did it go way harder on her in this movie compared to like other Marvel movies, but even other action movies of, the past couple years, and it just really like beat the hell out of her in a super crunchy, like visceral way. that kept making me really uncomfortable, especially when she has to like take a bunch of hits and then like slam her head into the desk really hard to beat the villain. I could not get behind it. And I'm not trying to like white knight Scarlett Johansson, like she's a tough girl, and I know that it felt really bizarre to me for a big blockbuster Marvel movie.
One thing that I want to say is that if it was a male, it probably wouldn't have been that bad.
See, no, I've been wrestling with this literally since I walked outside of the theater, and I'm trying to like
I get it.
Imagine the scene if it was Tony Stark or Captain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of it is, you know what? I tried to put Clint in her shoes because they're both just regular people, and I still, even imagining everything happening to her that happened to Clint, I'm still like, wow, they really went fucking hard on him.
Interesting.
And it's a brutal movie.
I think that was the point, though. I mean,
maybe it is, and I hope it is. It could be, but I couldn't tell watching the movie, and I was really struggling, like really trying to dissect my feelings on all this.
Yeah.
'Cause it felt super brutal.
Yeah.
And it was a weird contrast to other
For
movies.
sure, it was super brutal, especially when she's just taking hits from this egotistical piece of shit, like abusive man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and she's just smiling throughout the entire thing. Like, that's brutal. Yes.
See,
and then the fact that she does have to break her fucking nose.
The part that makes that
know.
better, though, is that she has the line that is hilarious that she says, because you weren't strong enough to do it, I have to do it myself. Like, that's the part that makes that so much funnier, though. See, that's a good use of comedy right there. That like, to make a really dark moment still lighter, that's a good moment for that. I approve of that.
I want to just go on the record and say that I disagree with what you say, Ryan.
What was that?
I just disagree with the comedy part about Marvel. I think they do it pretty well.
Oh no, I mean,
usually I think they do.
Here's the thing that you're misunderstanding. I'm not saying it's bad. There's moments where they should let it sit more than they do. I love it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love the charm that they have. And I love a lot of the jokes. Most of them land. Like, I can't think of a single one that doesn't land because they are all funny. It's just that's the problem, is that they are all funny, and there's moments where it shouldn't be funny. That's my issue. Like, I don't have a problem with them being lighthearted throughout like 95% of the movie, but you gotta let that 5% like have its moment because it loses its weight. Like, it just makes it like every other movie. One thing I was gonna ask you guys, I'm not sure if there's something else I was gonna say, but I'm gonna go move on to my question now. Is, had Chris Evans not fully bowed out, would you have liked to see him in that end with the Quinjet?
You know what? You know what I was hoping for, and what I would have liked to see is, we got the white hair, which I appreciated. I think it was a nice nod, and the vest, whatever. I would have liked to see the donut in the sky, and then her go like, "Oh shit, plot like Endgame, or no, like Infinity War's happening right now. I gotta fucking go."
Oh,
like I would have liked
like
some nod
Thanos.
of like, "Fucking aliens are here, and we need to mobilize like right now."
Well, that wouldn't have made sense with having
the timeline of what happened.
Nope. What's her name? Hey, the younger one. Elena. There we go.
Well, she was already off.
I'm forgetting.
Yeah, that was the post-credit scene.
Yeah, that's post-credits. There's like, she walks up to the jet, and she's like, "I'm gonna go break my friends out of prison." I would have liked that just to be a little different, where it's like,
got it.
5 minutes from now is our scene in it, or something, you know, like.
Yeah.
It's literally
Also, she
doesn't
got a
change
dog at
the
the end.
plot at all. I just think it would have been cool if they had said like, "Oh, the aliens are here now. Thanos is here right now. It's time to go." It just would have been cool for me. Doesn't really affect the movie at all.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening to our spoiler talk of Black Widow. I think we all enjoyed it to a certain extent, and just varying degrees on that. But yeah, thank you for joining us, and look forward to all of our other content that we have out there. Follow us on all of the social media at TalkingXP, and ask us any questions you want at asktalkingxp@gmail.com. Bye.
Bye.